إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدع وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise are due to Allah. We praise Him and we seek His aid and we seek His forgiveness. And we seek refuge with Allah from the evils of our souls and from our bad deeds. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses to guide, then no one can misguide. And whoever He chooses to misguide, then no one can guide. I bear witness that none deserves the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. He is alone and He has no partners. And that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His servant and final messenger. As to proceed, the best of speech is the book of Allah, and the finest guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The most evil of affairs are newly invented matters in the religion, and every newly invented matter in the religion is innovation, and every innovation is a misguidance and in the hellfire. So it pleases me, Ikhwan, and I'm honored to be invited amongst my Salafi brothers here in Norfolk, Virginia, Masjid al-Shura. And I only came to you as one who reminds, as a reminder for myself first and foremost, and then my brothers and sisters, of that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made obligatory and incumbent upon us, and to remind about that which He sent His final messenger with, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And also in these type of visits, ya akhwan, taqwa alaqat al-Salafiyyin, that the bond and relationships of the Salafis, they strengthen and they become stronger. And it increases our love for one another, our love for the sake of Allah. And also I encourage our brothers here at Masjid al-Shura also to build relationships and connections with those other du'at and students of knowledge that are more deserving to come to you than myself. Our brothers such as Abu Hassan Malik, Abu Abdullah Hassan al-Somali, our brother Abu Muhammad al-Maghribi, Kashif Khan, Musa Richardson, and other than them such as our brothers in England, Maktabat al-Salafiyya, Abu Khadija, Abu Hakim, Bilal Davis, Awais Tawil, and other than them from our ikhwah who are known, and also those brothers who are with them, whether it be here in the States or in England or in the West in general. From those who I didn't mention. Those who are known for their sound aqeed and a sound manhaj, and their relationship with the people of knowledge. نَحْسِبُهُمْ كَذَلِكَ وَاللَّهُ حَسِيبُهُمْ. And we thank everyone as well who had a hand in arranging this link and this gathering and facilitated it by Allah's permission. The brothers who extended the invite, our brother Rah, Jazallah Khairan, our brothers who worked diligently from Philadelphia and arranging along with the brothers here, our brother Abu Zahid, Jalil, and whoever else from the brothers here in the administration other than them who had a hand, and the likes of these liqa'at. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to place it upon their scales of good deeds and to give us ikhlas in His religion. And in the title, Ikhwan, of the lecture, as has been advertised, is an introduction to the three fundamental principles of Islam by Shaykh al-Islam, the Mujaddid, the Allama, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab al-Tamimi rahimahullah ta'ala. And this was suggested to me after consulting with my noble brother Abu Hassan Malik, after I expressed to him that I wanted to read a treatise in the area of Aqeedah. So he said, Ya Anwar, why don't you gather some of the shuruh of the scholars on Thalathatul Usul, the three fundamental principles, and benefit the people with this. And it was a fikrah istahsantuha, that I deemed it to be a very good idea. And therefore I pursued that. And this is inshallah ta'ala what we will speak about bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And the titles inshallah ta'ala we would like to touch on in the two lectures. I believe we have two, Raha. And the two lectures, or if not, whatever we can bi'idhnillah mention from this, is number one, a brief biography of the Imam and the Mujaddid Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Two, some of the fruits and the thamarat of the da'wah and efforts of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Three, the importance of the book, the three fundamental principles, Thalathatul Usul. Four, the Basmala, its meaning. Five, his statement, اعلم رحمك الله أنه يجب علينا تعلم أربع مسائل. Know, may Allah have mercy upon you, that it is incumbent upon us to have knowledge of four matters. Six, his statement, bil-adilla, along with its evidences. Seven, his statement, al-amalu bihi, and acting upon it, yani upon knowledge. 8, waqfa ma surat al-asr, a brief discussion regarding the benefits of surat al-asr. 9, al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal, knowledge precedes speech and action. 10, fa'lam annahu la ilaha illallah wa astaghfir li dhanbik, the statement of Allah, translated to mean, and know that none deserves the right to be worshipped except Allah, then seek forgiveness of your sins. 11, أن الله خلقنا ورزقنا ولم يتركنا هملا, that Allah created us and provided for us, and He did not leave us without a purpose. And after that, bi'idhnillah, we'll close out if Allah wills. So beginning, ikhwan, we're going to speak about the tarjama, a tarjama mukhtasara, a brief biography of the Shaykh and the Imam and the Mujaddid Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab al-Tamimi rahimahullah ta'ala. As for his name, that he was Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab ibn Sulaiman al-Tamimi. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, Abdul Wahhab was his father, ibn Sulaiman, his grandfather, al-Tamimi, yani he was from Bani Tamim, a tribe, a well-known tribe, there in Arabia. As for his mawlid, when he was born, then he was born in the land of al-Uyayna. The land of al-Uyayna in the year 1115 after the Hijrah. In the year of 1115 after the Hijrah, which was about, I believe, in the 1700s, around that time. في بيت علم وشرف ودين. And he was born and he came from a house of knowledge and nobility and religion. فأبوه عالم كبير. His father was an alim, a great alim in the area, and also his grandfather Sulaiman was the alim of Najd and his time. And when they refer to the area called Najd, that's located in the present area of the capital of Saudi Arabia, al-Riyadh. That is that which is considered a Najd. And the area of the capital are what is known today as al-Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. As for his upbringing, نشأته حفظ القرآن قبل بلوغه 10 سنين. That he memorized the Quran before he reached the age of 10. And this shows the ikhwan how the ulama, they would make ihtimam with their children, especially, and memorizing the book of Allah. And as we have the athar, I believe, of Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, لا يزال الناس أو لا يزال المسلمون بخير, that the Muslims will not cease to be in a state of good, ما علموا أولادهم القرآن, so long as they teach their children the Quran, the book of Allah. ودرس الفقه حتى نال حظا وافرا من العلم, and he studied fiqh, jurisprudence, the affairs of fiqh, until he obtained a great portion of knowledge of fiqh. And his father was very amazed at him because of his strong memory. And he used to read in abundance in the books of tafsir, in the books of hadith. And he was diligent in seeking knowledge day and night. فَكَانَ يَحْفَظُ الْمُتُونَ الْعِلْمِيَّةِ, so he would memorize the different mutun, the different texts of the scholars. And he would memorize in the different fields of knowledge. Arabic, hadith, tafsir, and other than that, usul al-fiqh. وَرَحِلَ فِي طَلَبِ الْعِلْمِ إِلَى الْأَحْسَاءِ, and he set out to travel to seek knowledge. So he went to Ahsa, which is in the area, present day, the eastern province of Saudi Arabia, which is near the area of Dammam and things like that. That's that which is known as Ahsa. And he studied on the ulama of Ahsa, Sheikh Abdullah al-Fayruz, and other than them. And then he went to Mecca and al-Medina. وَقَرَأَ عَلَى عُلَمَاء الْمَدِينَةِ, and he sought knowledge with the scholars of al-Medina. From them Sheikh Abdullah ibn Ibrahim al-Shimmari, and other than them. And also in Medina, he sat with and he met the famous scholar, Sheikh Muhammad Hayat al-Sindi. Sheikh Muhammad Hayat al-Sindi, and he studied with him ilm al-hadith, the science of hadith. And mind you, Ikhwan, that during these rihlas of the ulama in the past, when there weren't any trains or any cars or any planes, but they set out these great distances, ya Ikhwan, in order to seek ilm, in order to seek the mirath of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the inheritance of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is ilm. So they went to these different places, مع ما فيها من التعب والمشقة, although that which it entailed from hardship and other than that, traveling through the desert, lack of water, lack of provisions, khawf, fear, and other than that, ya Ikhwan. And Sheikh Muhammad bin Hadi mentioned something, Ikhwan, I was listening to a tape. And he said today, and he was mentioning some of the juhud of the Salaf, when they went out and seeking ilm. And he said today you find from the tullab al-ilm that go to seek knowledge, he said, you find that their father, they'll send them a car. And they have a mukafa, they have a stipend, a monthly stipend. And you have their father also sending them money. If their father has money. And he said even if their father didn't have money, he'll borrow money just to send it to his son to continue seeking ilm. And he said even with this, you still don't find the diligence and the juhud of the tullab al-ilm today as you found amongst the salaf and the barakah that they had in their time and in their waqt and their diligence in seeking ilm. فَلِلَّهِ الْمُشْتَكَى. So we only complain to Allah, and this is what the Shaykh he said. So now, Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab made rihla in seeking ilm. And he went to Iraq and he studied under some of the ulama there of Basra. And he says, وَكَانَ إِمَامٌ Muhammad Abdul Wahhab قَدْ وَهَبَهُ اللَّهُ فَهْمًا ثَاقِبًا. And Allah had given Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab a strong understanding and brilliance. And he embarked upon research and authoring books. And he would write down anything that he came past from fawaid, from benefits, through his reading and through his research. And other than that, then he would write it down. And he did not become bored from writing and taking notes and writing down benefits and fawaid. And he had handwritten many works, many of the works of Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim. But then, Ikhwan, it wasn't that you can just go to a maktab and buy a book At that time, it wasn't easy like that you can just go to a library, buy a book off the shelf, and then benefit and keep it in your home. Books wasn't available like that then. So if you were fortunate enough for someone to lend you a book, then what would you do? Takhut. You would write it out from cover to cover. And this also showed that you couldn't go to the copy machine. Let me copy this right quick. La. You would write it down, word for word. Also showing the juhud of Ahl al-Ilm. And he says some of these manuscripts can still be found today in some of the museums, and other than that, they're in Saudi Arabia. As for his da'wah, and the type of environment that the Shaykh he grew up in, كانت حالة المسلمين في نجد وفي العالم الإسلامي عموما قد غلب عليها ظهور البدع والشركيات والخرافات والجهل. At that time, ya akhwan, the condition of the Muslims in Najd, and also in the Islamic world in general, was overcome by the appearance of widespread bid'ah, innovations, and shirk, and khurafat, superstitions, and ignorance of the reality of the true Islam. And this was in Najd. So this was in Najd, in the area not too far from the two holy precincts, Mecca and al-Medina. If it was the case that these affairs appeared in this land, in this blessed land, in this blessed place where the Prophet ﷺ, he called the people in Mecca and al-Medina, and if this was the hal, and this was the condition, that much bid'ah had appeared in shirkiyat and other than that, then imagine other than that from the different lands, the different Islamic lands, outside of the Arabian Peninsula. So this was the hal. It was overcome by widespread bid'ah and shirkiyat, affairs of shirk, khurafat, superstitions, and other than that. So Najd, the area of Riyadh that we mentioned, it was filled with qubur, graves that were worshipped besides Allah. People going to the graves to ask the inhabitants of the graves for their needs besides Allah. Shirk. Also going to trees and going to stones, worshiping them besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they used to offer sacrifices and other than that to these graves and to these stones and to these trees. Likewise, you found this even in the Hijaz, Mecca al-Medina, and Ta'if, that area in Jeddah. And you found that in Yemen. You found these affairs of shirk, wa'iyadhan billah. As was mentioned by one of the historians at that time, Ibn Ghannam, who documented many of the works of Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, and also Ibn Bishr, and other than them. So keep in mind, ya akhwan, this wasat, and this environment that Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, he grew up in, and his da'wah came out, and this was the condition of the environment in Najd at that time. So he says, وَفِي هَذَا الْوَسْطِ الْمُظْلِمِ خَرَجَتْ دَعْوَةُ الشَّيْخِ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ. So in this dark environment, in this dark era, the da'wah of the Shaykh, it came out, the da'wah to Tawheed. And he openly proclaimed his da'wah, rebuking these shirkiyats and this bid'ah, calling the people to Tawheed, the Tawheed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent his Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with. So he met that which he met from the people from harm, that which the likes of other than him from the du'at they met. And he was followed by some who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the success to accept the truth. And the Shaykh, he started his da'wah in a place called Huraymila, which is also in that area not too far from Najd, because his father was residing in that town of Huraymila. However, due to some circumstances, he had to leave that land, that town, and he went to al-Uyayna. And when he went to Uyayna, he connected with the governor of Uyayna, whose name was Uthman ibn Ma'mar. So this governor, the governor of Uyayna, he helped Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab in the beginning. So the students of Nawah, they gathered around him, and the Shaykh, he began to implement some of the ahkam al-shar'iyyah. So he destroyed some of the qubbab al-shirkiyah, some of the shrines. And he stoned those who committed zina. He commanded that those who committed zina be stoned. And then Ibn Ma'mar, the governor of Uyayna, تخلى عنه خوفا من تهديد بعض الرؤساء. He left off assisting Sheikh Muhammad al-Wahhab out of fear of some of the other rulers, some of the threats of the other rulers. So the Sheikh, he left Uyayna and he headed to al-Dir'iyyah. He headed to a place which was known as al-Dir'iyyah. And then at this time he connected with his governor, the governor of Dir'iyyah, who was Muhammad ibn Saud. Muhammad ibn Saud, rahimahullah, rahmatullah alayh, rahmatun wasi'ah. وعرض عليه دعوته, and he presented his call to Muhammad ibn Saud. So Muhammad ibn Saud, he accepted this call, and he made a pledge that he would assist him. And he, in fact, assisted him, rahimahullah ta'ala. So the Shaykh, he held lessons in circles of knowledge. And the Tullab al-Ilm, they came and flocked to him from different places. وتكونت في هذه البلدة ولاية إسلامية تحكم بشرع الله. And it was formed in this area, in this land, Dir'iyyah, an Islamic state that judged by the Sharia of Allah. And they established the hudud, the legal laws of punishment. نعم. وتقيم حدود الله أميرها Muhammad ibn Saud. So Muhammad ibn Saud, he would establish the hudud, the legal laws of punishment, and وموجهها, and the one who was given guidance and direction was Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahimahumullah ta'ala. And now we would like to discuss, ya akhwan, some of the thimar and some of the fruits and good remnants of this blessed call and the efforts of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah ta'ala. So after hearing a bit of the Sheikh's biography, and we know the type of environment that the Sheikh he came out with, and he called to Tawheed, and it was the presence of shirkiyas, it was the presence of bid'ah and widespread superstitions, and other than that, what was the thimar, and what was the fruits and the good benefits and remnants of the da'wah of this blessed da'wah of Tawheed, the da'wah of Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab? From the thimar and from the remnants of this da'wah, تصحيح العقيدة الإسلامية من الشركيات والبدع والخرافات العالقة بها. That it corrected the Islamic aqidah. This da'wah of Tawheed, it corrected the Islamic aqidah from the shirk that was being practiced, and the innovations, and the superstitions, and other than that the people they were holding on to and they were attached to. And they returned it to the book of Allah, and he returned it to the book of Allah and the sunnah, the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And here we would like to make a brief waqfa, ya ikhwan. And this shows, ikhwan, that the call to Tawheed, not like some claim that teaching the books of Tawheed won't rectify the people, and teaching the books of Tawheed won't get the youth off the corner, and other than that, then this is a false claim. This is a false claim from those who make this claim. Because we see here that, and if we look at the good fruits of the Mamlak up until this day, a place of Tawheed, where you don't find any qubur being worshipped besides Allah, any individuals making tabarruk from trees and seeking blessings from trees and stones, and other than that, you don't find any ma'abid shirkiyah, any churches or synagogues or other than that, but rather you find the people muqbilin ala tawheed, upon tawheed, khalis, purely and solely upon tawheed, the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if it's the case, ya akhwan, that this call of tawheed and teaching his books and other than that it can correct those who are attached to worshipping and placing their tawakkul and other than Allah, from trees and stones and other than that. And those who are going to the graves and seeking help from who they claim to be awliya and other than that. If you can correct these things, ya ikhwan, فَمَا بَالُكَ, then what do you think about those who are already Muslims and inshallah who are upon Tawheed, and they have the asas and asl of Tawheed, but they have shortcomings such as selling drugs or other than that. Wallahi, it'll correct this, ya ikhwan. Because when a person knows the right that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has upon them, and when a person begins to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His names and attributes, that Allah is al-Raqib, He's al-Sami', He's al-Alim, and other than that, then there's nothing that a person won't give up for the sake of pleasing his Lord, ikhwan. There's nothing that a person won't give up for the sake of pleasing his Lord if a person is upon knowledge of that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made obligatory upon him. So the likes of these statements, ya ikhwan, don't listen to these statements, ya ikhwan. Foolishness. That Tawheed won't get the people off the corner, and other than that, wallahi it will, ya ikhwan. Wallahi it will, ya ikhwan. So beware of ikhwan, those who downplay the affair of Tawheed, ya ikhwan, the true call, the first call of the prophets and the messengers. Beware of those who downplay the teaching of Tawheed and the teaching of the books. And this doesn't mean we don't make tatarruq and we don't speak about other issues and other masail. It doesn't mean that. But Tawheed is the foundation, ya ikhwan, it's the asl. And we'll never give up teaching the books of Tawheed and Sunnah. Because this is what ultimately, ya ikhwan, is going to rectify the hearts of the people, ya ikhwan. Them knowing who their Lord is, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also from the benefits and from the thimar and from the good fruits of the da'wah of Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah, وجود حركة علمية واعية متحررة من التقليد الأعمى. That it brought up, this da'wah, ya ikhwan, it brought about the presence of a knowledge-based movement. Those who began to seek ilm and spread ilm all over the different places. Free from a taqleed al-a'ma, blind following, and other than that. As we know, ikhwan, at that time in Medina, you had 4 a'imma of the Prophet's masjid. You had the a'imma of the Malikiyyah, the Hanafiyyah, the Shafi'iyyah, and the Hanabila. Everybody, they would pray behind their imam. If you said you were Maliki, you had to pray over there with the Maliki. If you were here, you said you were Hanbali, you had to pray with the Hanbalis. If you said that you were Shafi, you had to pray behind the Shafi'is. And you couldn't pray behind anyone else. And this is because what the people were immersed in, ya ikhwan, what they believed was Islam. And they were immersed in bid'ah and taqleed al-a'ma without daleel. So the da'wah of Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, ya ikhwan, it started a harakat ilmiya. It started a knowledge-based movement. That the people, they begin to accept that which was in Kitab and Sunnah, and that was the salaf of this ummah were upon, and they left off blind following. And you found, ikhwan, that the ulama, they spread out, the scholars, they spread out in the different akhtar, in the different lands. فَسَاهَمُوا فِي نَشْرِ الدَّعْوَةِ, and they took part in spreading this da'wah to Tawheed and the call to the Sunnah. And this, whether it was in the time of Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab or before, or after him, or those who came after him, from his grandchildren and their students and other than them. I will give an example. Because al-Shawkani, Imam al-Shawkani rahimahullah, and also Imam al-San'ani, Amir al-San'ani, they lived in that general era of Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, and they were from Yemen. And it reached them, the call of the Shaykh, and also know, because ikhwan, as the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين. They will not cease to be a group from my ummah apparent upon the truth. لا يضرهم من خذلهم. They will not be harmed by those who forsake them, nor those who oppose them. حتى يأتي أمر الله وهم ظاهرون. Until the command of Allah is established and they're apparent. So even in this wasat, ya ikhwan, when you found shirk and other than that, you still have people upon the sunnah in the different places and other than that. So when they heard about the da'wah of Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, they were happy. They were happy, and this also gave them what? It gave them encouragement. When they seen the people embarking upon Tawheed and embarking upon Sunnah, this gave them encouragement. And this is like, for example, if you're in a particular city and you're in a land there's no Salafis, and then you're in a particular place and you see and you run into a person and he's upon the Sunnah, how do you feel? You're happy. You're happy, and you see this person. This person, for example, he's diligent in calling the people to the Sunnah. Other than that, and you see this individual, how do you feel? You feel very happy. Just like this, ya akhwan. So when the ulama, the different aqtar in the different lands, they heard about the da'wah of Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad al-Wahhab, and they heard this call to Tawheed. They said, listen, this is the true call. We're going to aid this call. We're going to aid this call however we can. So listen to some of the lines of poetry mentioned by Shawkani. Shawkani, rahimahullah, he died in the year 1250. And Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab died in the year 1206. So Shawkani, he was still fairly young when Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, he passed away. But look what Shawkani said when he heard about the da'wah of Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab. لَقَدْ أَشْرَقَ النَّجْمِ بِنُورِ ضِيَائِهِ وَقَامَ مَقَامَاتَ الْهُدَى بِالدَّلَائِلِ فَمَا هُوَ إِلَّا قَائِمٌ فِي زَمَانِهِ مقام نبي في إماتة باطل. He said, Najd has shined with the light of his brightness, meaning Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab. And he stood in the place of correct guidance by way of proofs and evidence. فَمَا هُوَ إِلَّا قَائِمٌ فِي زَمَانِهِ. So he is not taking a place in his time except like that of a prophet in wiping out falsehood. And don't get it mixed up. He wasn't calling him a prophet, but he was saying that he was doing the walifa of the anbiya. That he was doing the job and the task of the prophets of calling to Tawheed, the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So look at how Shawkani, look at these abiyat where Shawkani, he praised the da'wah of Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab when he heard about the da'wah. And mind you, they were in Yemen, Sana'a. They were in Yemen. And Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab was in Najd, in the area of Riyadh. So at that time, no telephones and things like this, no social media, no telephones, and other than that. But look how, akhwan, look how the da'wah of the haqq, it spreads. And those calling to the haqq, those calling to the haqq upon basira and upon clarity, then this becomes known and it spreads. Just like those who call to falsehood, it spreads. And it becomes known amongst the people. So look at that time, maybe it was a distance of a month, at least, on camelback or horseback or other than that, between Sana'a and Najd. But even with that, it reached them the da'wah of Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab. So let's listen also to what San'ani he mentioned in some of his lines of poetry. وَقَدْ جَاءَتِ الْأَخْبَارُ عَنْهُ بِأَنَّهُ يُعِيدُ لَنَا الشَّرْعُ الشَّرِيفُ بِمَا يُبْدِي وَيَنْشُرْ جَهْرًا مَا طَوَى كُلُّ جَاهِلٍ وَمُبْتَدِعٍ مِنْهُ فَوَافَقَ مَا عِنْدِي وَيَعْمَرْ أَرْكَانِ الشَّرِيعَةِ هَادِمًا مَشَاهِدًا ضَلَّ النَّاسُ فِيهَا عَنِ الرُّشْدِ. He says, San'ani rahimahullah, and news has come regarding him that he is returning us to the pure Sharia, is returning us to the pure Islam. And he is spreading openly what every ignorant has tried to conceal and every innovator. فَوَافَقَ مَا عِنْدِي. فَوَافَقَ مَا عِنْدِي. And he has agreed with what I'm upon. So look at that, ya akhwan. This also shows us what? It shows us that the ulama of the sunnah, even if they never met, even if they never ran into each other, you'll find them having the same usul and the same foundations. And you'll find them affirming the same affairs of creed and other than that. Look what San'ani said, فَوَافَقَ مَا عِنْدِي. And he's agreed upon, and he's agreed with that which I'm spreading. So it shows that their manbat is that mashrab is wahid. And the ayn of the spring that they're drinking from is one, which is the kitab and the sunnah and the fahm of the salaf al-salih. That's why if you find a salafi in the mashriq and you find a salafi in the maghrib, You find a Salafi in the east and you find a Salafi in the west. You find them upon the same usul and the same qawa'id, because their mashrab is one, ya ikhwan. That which they take from and that which they take their end from is one place. It's the same place, excuse me. The kitab and the sunnah upon the fahm of the salaf as-salih, this ummah. So Shawkani went on to say, وَيَعْمُرْ أَرْكَانِ الشَّرِيعَ هَادِمًا, and he's reconstructing the pillars of the religion whilst demolishing مَشَاهِدْ ضَلَّ النَّاسُ فِيهَا عَنِ الرُّشْدِ, the shrines which the people have been led to misguidance because of them. كيف الوقت؟ واصل. Also, ikhwan, and we're continuing, and we're going to read some beneficial kalam by Sheikh Muhammad al-Jami rahimahullah ta'ala that shows, قبل ذلك عفوا, also from the remnants, the good remnants of the da'wah of Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah, تأسيس الجامعات الإسلامية التي تخرج منها الكثير من طلبة العلم وعلماء من جميع أنحاء العالم الإسلامي. That this da'wah, this blessed da'wah, it caused the establishment of universities, Islamic universities, in which many students of knowledge and ulama from all parts of the Islamic world, they graduated from, equipped with the Salafi aqidah and sound ideology. ينتشرون في جميع أنحاء المعمورة, spreading out throughout the lands, spreading this correct deen, this deen al-sahih, found in the kitab, found in the book of Allah, and what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with. So this is one aspect, ya ikhwan. We're going to mention some other aspects of how the da'wah of Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, it affects us directly, and we're benefiting directly from this blessed call. So this is one point. So he observed the different Islamic universities, such as that in al-Medina, such as that in Mecca, al-Qura, Jamiat al-Imam, and other than that. So let's take, for example, many of our ulama, they were graduates from these universities. They were graduates from these universities where they learned the Salafi aqidah, the Salafi methodology. Or either they were teachers at these universities or president. So look at Sheikh bin Baz rahimahullah, who was the president of the Islamic University of Medina. Sheikh al-Islam in his time, Sheikh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz. Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, hafidhahullah ta'ala. Sheikh Rabi' bin Hadi al-Madkhali, تخرج, graduated from the Islamic University. Likewise, taught at the Islamic University, was a doctor at the Islamic University. Sheikh Muhammad Nasruddin al-Albani, rahimahullah, was a teacher. Sheikh Muhammad Aman al-Jami. Other than them who are from our ulama, Sheikh Muqbil al-Wadi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala. So that's one aspect. So they are ulama, and they graduated from these universities that were established due to the da'wah of Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala, and the hukam and the government embracing this da'wah al-mubarak at da'wah al-salafiyya. Also, let's take another step. Look who from our well-known du'at who came from these different universities, who came back and taught salafiyya in the likes of these lands. Abu Wais Abdullah Ahmed rahimahullah ta'ala attended the Islamic University of Medina, this blessed Jami'ah, established by the Saudi government. Our brother Abu Talha Dawood Burbank, rahmatullah alayhi. Look at our brothers, for example, Abu Hassan Malik and Hassan Somali, who were students of Sheikh Muqbil, who graduated from the University of Al-Medina, who came back and spread Salafiyya. And other than them, ya ikhwan. So look how we directly here in the States, even in the States, we directly benefit from the da'wah, the blessed da'wah of Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab. Also from other students. Abu Abbas Musa Richardson, graduate from al-Qura. Akhuna Abu Adam, graduate from al-Qura. Graduates from these blessed universities, ya ikhwan, that are remnants of the da'wah of Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab. Yani, as everyone follow me, how we, even us right now, we're directly benefiting from the blessed da'wah of Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab. Is everybody following me? Now, we're going to mention something else, inshallah ta'ala. that time? Is it time for the adhan yet? Do we have time? Is it time? It's time. طيب 7 دقائق خلاص نواصل إن شاء الله. Also يا إخوان, Also إخوان, Sheikh Muhammad al-Majami, he has كلام نفيس جدا, very very precious كلام يا إخوان, يكتب بالذهب, that he mentions regarding some of the remnants and some of the good remnants of the blessed da'wah of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala. He says, ولما اشتدت الفتنة في عهد المأمون العباسي, and when the fitna became severe in the time of Ma'mun al-Abbasi, يعني he was the Khalifa at the time of Imam Ahmad. يعني the fitna, we know the fitna of the Khalq al-Quran, that they were saying that the Quran was created. And we know that the Quran is the speech of Allah uncreated. But this was the fitna at the time of Imam Ahmad. So when this fitna became severe, at the time of Ma'mun al-Abbasi, was from the Abbasiyin, Khulafa, and also the Mu'tasim Billah, and also al-Wathiq Billah, قيض الله لهذه الأمة إمام أهل السنة والجماعة وقامع البدعة, that Allah decreed for this ummah the Imam of Ahl al-Sunnah, the suppressor of bid'ah, Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah ta'ala. So he remained patient. He sought his reward from Allah. He was beat until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused his aqeedah to remain due to his sabr and due to his enduring of harm for the sake of this aqeedah. For the sake of this aqeedah. He said, however, the Salafiyin, al-Maqrizi, he mentions, who was an historian, تفرقوا في أنحاء الدنيا, they spread out in the different lands after the trial, after the mihna of Imam Ahmad. حتى جهل هذا المنهج, up until the Salafi manhaj became unknown amongst many of the people. ومما يلاحظ, and that which is noticed, that the tajdeed of Imam Ahmad, the revival of Imam Ahmad, لم يقيض الله له من يؤازره. Allah did not place anyone from the authorities and from the rulers who supported and defended the da'wah of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal at his time. Yani so that the full effect could be seen in his time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not decree that any authority, any ruler, any governor supported his da'wah and defended it, so that the full effect of his da'wah, the da'wah was seen, yani the effect was seen, but that the full effect of that da'wah was seen at his time, yani this didn't happen. Sheikh Muhammad al-Manjami is saying. He said, because the sulta nafsaha, because the authorities themselves, they were the ones who had enmity towards him. They were the ones who had enmity towards him. And the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has always been that the truth doesn't appear and remain established amongst the people except with the presence of two people. The sunnah of Allah has always been that the truth does not appear and does not remain amongst the people except with the presence of two types of people. Sheikh Muhammad al-Manjami mentions الداعية الشجاع الصريح الذي يصدع بالحق, the courageous da'i who's straightforward, who comes out open with the truth. And number two, al-mu'azir al-shuja', a strong, courageous one in authority, who adopts and embraces that da'wah and defends that da'i. It must be two people. So he tribes. He would say what? من يحميني حتى أبلغ رسالة ربي. Who will protect me so I can deliver the message of my Lord? The Prophet ﷺ said. So look at the importance of a mu'azir, ya akhwan. One who would defend the da'wah
that da'i, of that courageous da'i. Look at the importance of having one in authority who will be a mu'azir, who will defend that da'wah. Even the Prophet ﷺ said, who will protect me so I can deliver the message of my Lord. Shaykh Muhammad al-Jami says, فَقَيَّضَ اللَّهُ لَهُ مَنْ يُؤَازِرُهُ. So Allah willed and decreed one who supported him. And that which estranged the one who supported him the most, so he can deliver the message of his Lord, was a person who did not believe in his risala. However, he knew that his message was haqq. However, that which prevented him from those reasons that he mentioned, meaning Abu Talib, and is that he feared ayr from Quraysh, from the Quraysh. He feared blame from the Quraysh. He said, and we find that Imam Ahmad, as we said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not decree those who would, the one who would aid and support his da'wah. So, because of that, لم يستفد من تجديده الفائدة الملموسة في ذلك الوقت. The maximum benefit of his revival الله. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة الصلاة القائمة. Now, so the benefit of the tajdeed, the revival of Imam Ahmad of the Salafi Aqeedah wasn't the maximum benefit. It wasn't seen at that time, ya ikhwan. Why? Because he didn't have what? A mu'azir. One who would defend him. He says, وَجَاء ابْنُ تَيْمِيَّةَ بَعْدُ. When Ibn Taymiyyah came after him, فَأُوذِيَ. So he was harmed because of his da'wah. And did Allah decree and send anyone to aid him? لا. مَا أَنَّ الْمُجْتَمَعِ يُحِبُّهُ. Even though the society, they had much love for him. And the Salatin, even the rulers, they respected him due to his courage and due to his ilm. However, his enemies, they were ulama su. They were scholars of evil. And they had a shawk and they had strength. And the rulers would appease these individuals, these ulama su. So every time these ulama su, they would ask that Ibn Taymiyyah be expelled from the land, either to Cairo or to Iskandariya, or anytime they asked that they imprison him, then the authorities, they would do so to appease these ulama su. So because of that, لم يستفد من تجديده أيضا الاستفادة المرجوة. Because of this, even the revival of Ibn Taymiyyah during his time, the maximum benefit of that revival wasn't felt during that time. Again, because he didn't have a mu'azin. He didn't have one to defend him and aid him. Besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah kafihi, but this is the sunnah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even his books. Many of his books, ya akhwan, he had a large number of books. Even at that time, the books of Ibn Taymiyyah weren't benefited as we'll see, today. He said, however, listen, akhwan, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he wanted to revive this deen in the 12th century, Hijri, the time of Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, قَيَّضَ اللَّهُ لِهَذَا الْمُجَدِّدِ الْأَخِيرِ. Allah decreed for this final mujaddid, Shaykh Muhammad al-Wahhab, one who supported him and one who defended him, Muhammad ibn Saud. And they had a shawka. They had strength. The forefathers of Malik Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah. The grandfather of Malik Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he decreed for this last mujaddid, Muhammad al-Wahhab, one who supported him and one who defended him. وهذه المؤازرة هي التي جعلتنا نستفيد اليوم من تجديد إمام أحمد وتجديد ابن تيمية رحمه الله تعالى. And this support and this defense of this last mujaddid, يعني Muhammad ibn Saud, the family of Saud, it is what caused us to be able to benefit from the revival of Imam Ahmad and the revival of Ibn Taymiyyah. And the revival of Ibn Taymiyyah. Because their mu'allafat were mahjura. Their books were abandoned and then people left off their books. However, and even their books were taken to the lands of the kuffar, the books of the ulama. The mustashriqeen, they took the books, Germany, to Holland, to the Netherlands, and other than that. However, from the beautiful remnants and the goodly effects of this tajdeed, this revival that we're benefiting from today, all those books were gathered and all those books were printed. Who printed these books, ya akhwan? Ali Saud, the Mamlaka, ya akhwan. They printed the books of Ibn Taymiyyah. They printed the books of Imam Ahmad. And they printed the books of Sheikh Muhammad al-Wahhab and the ulama that came after. So look how this tajdeed with the mu'azir of Ali Saud, look how it caused them to revive the books of Ibn Taymiyyah and the books of Imam Ahmad, the books of the Salaf, that preserved the Salafi Aqeedah. So who then would dare, ya akhwan, open their mouths against the family of Saud, ya akhwan? Qata Allahu lisanahum. May Allah cut off their tongues. Who would dare open their mouths, ya akhwan, against this blessed family, ya akhwan, who did nothing but aid the Salafi Aqeedah, who aided the books of Imam Ahmad, reprinted the books of Imam Ahmad, aided his da'wah, aided the da'wah of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim al-Tilmid, and the books of Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad al-Wahhab, and those who came after him, Ibn Baz and other than them. Who dare would speak ill of this blessed family, ya akhwan? That's why, akhwan, if you find anyone speaking ill of this blessed family, ya akhwan, they're either jahil, one who is ignorant, or either sahib hawa, a person that desires, upon the way of the Ikhwan al-Muslimin, upon the way of the Khawarij. So look, ya akhwan, and this is the point that we wanted to make, also from the remnants of this blessed da'wah, is that which we live in today. We have the books even in English, walillah alhamd. We have the books of Imam Ahmad. We have the books of Ibn Taymiyyah. We have the books of Muhammad al-Wahhab. Lawla Allah, if it wasn't for Allah, thumma Ali Saud, then we wouldn't have these books in front of us, ya akhwan. And with this we'll end, inshallah ta'ala, to after Maghrib, sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, wa barak.